The artificial gravity stuttered again, causing Commander Juno Blackwell to grab the rusted console to steady herself. In the dim emergency lighting of the command center, she watched another red warning indicator join dozens of others on the station's systems display. "Tors, please tell me you can fix the gravity generator," Juno said, brushing a strand of auburn hair from her face. Chief Engineer Nadia Tors didn't look up from the exposed panel she was working on. "With what, Commander? Wishes and good intentions. I've been cannibalizing parts from non-essential systems for weeks. We're running out of non-essential systems." Juno sighed. Veridian 6 had never been a paradise, just a remote mining outpost on the edge of colonized space, but it had been home to nearly 3,000 people. Now, after the Corvus Dominion's attack 8 months ago, barely 600 survivors remained, huddled in the station's emergency bunkers with dwindling supplies. "Do what you can," Juno said. "The colonists are scared enough without floating through the corridors." The attackers had destroyed their interstellar communications array, their defense systems, and most of their food production facilities before vanishing back into deep space, leaving the survivors to die slowly. A calculated cruelty that seemed to be the Corvus trademark. "Commander," the voice came from Ensign Patel, who monitored what remained of their sensor array. "I'm picking up movement in the debris field." Juno moved to his station, heart racing. "Corvus vessels." "No, ma'am, something smaller, I think. I think it's people, suited figures moving through the wreckage." "Survivors after all this time," Juno grabbed a comm unit. "Lieutenant Reed, gear up for EVA. We have potential survivors in the debris field." 20 minutes later, Juno watched through the observation window as Lieutenant Dominic Reed guided 3 space-suited figures through the airlock. When the chamber pressurized, she rushed down to meet them. The first helmet lifted to reveal a weathered face belonging to a man in his 50s, his salt-and-pepper beard matted with sweat. "Dr. Winston Harlow," he introduced himself, voice hoarse. "Chief Scientist from Research Station Helios, or what's left of it." "Commander Juno Blackwell, Veridian 6 mining colony," she hesitated. "Helios, the research station on the other side of the asteroid belt." The second figure removed her helmet, revealing a young woman with close-cropped black hair. "Talia Reeves, security officer. And yes, Helios was attacked 3 weeks ago. Same pattern as here, they crippled us and left. We've been hiding in the maintenance tunnels, but supplies were running out." The third figure struggled with their helmet until Dr. Harlow helped them. A teenager, no more than 16, with frightened eyes. "This is Pascal," Talia explained. "He hasn't spoken since the attack." Juno led them to the medical bay where Dr. Omar Hassan was already preparing examination stations. "You're safe now," she assured them, though the words rang hollow even to her ears. They weren't safe. They were just postponing the inevitable a little longer. While Dr. Hassan examined the newcomers, Juno pulled Talia aside. "How did you escape? How did you find us?" "Pure desperation," Talia admitted. "We cobbled together a short-range shuttle from salvaged parts. Our nav systems detected your power signature. It was either try to reach you or die on Helios." Later that evening, Juno called a meeting with her surviving senior staff and their new arrivals. Chief Tors, Lieutenant Reed, Dr. Hassan, and Security Chief Marcus Wilson gathered around the battered conference table alongside Dr. Harlow and Talia. "Let's be direct," Juno said. "Our situation is critical. With the arrival of our friends from Helios, we need to reassess our supplies." Tors spoke first. "Water recyclers are still functioning at 63% efficiency. Oxygen generation is stable, but food," she trailed off. "4 weeks," Chief Wilson finished. 5 if we implement stricter rationing." Dr. Harlow cleared his throat. "Before I was assigned to Helios, I worked on prototype communication systems. If I could access your damaged array, I might be able to boost a signal through the quantum layer." Hope flickered in Juno's chest for the first time in months. Would Earth receive it? "Unlikely," Dr. Harlow shook his head. "The distance is too great, but any passing ships, especially military vessels with enhanced receivers, might pick it up." "It's a long shot," Tors said. "Long shots are all we have left," Juno replied. "What do you need, Doctor?" For the next 3 days, Juno watched as Dr. Harlow and Tors worked tirelessly on the damaged communications array. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Reed and Talia trained volunteers for a desperate plan to reach the abandoned mining platforms where additional supplies might remain. On the 4th day, Juno found Pascal in the observation lounge, staring out at the stars. She sat beside him, following his gaze to the endless void. "I used to think space was beautiful," she said softly. "Now I just see the distance, how far help would have to travel to reach us." To her surprise, Pascal spoke, his voice barely audible. "They're still out there." Who? The Corvus ships, they circle back, they watch. A chill ran down Juno's spine. You've seen them. Pascal nodded. They study us like we're in a terrarium. Before Juno could respond, the station's ancient speakers crackled to life with Tor's excited voice. Commander to communications, we've done it. Juno found Harlow and Tor surrounded by jury-rigged equipment, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of a quantum transmitter. It's working, she asked, hardly daring to believe. Barely, Dr. Harlow said. We can send one message, very small, just coordinates and an emergency code. Then we wait, Tor's added. And hope someone is listening, Juno finished, staring at the small transmitter that now carried the lives of everyone on Veridian 6. Hope, Dr. Harlow repeated with a tired smile. Sometimes that's enough. But as Pascal's warning echoed in her mind, Juno wondered if their message would reach friendly ears before the Corvus Dominion returned to finish what they started. Lieutenant Dominic Reed adjusted the oxygen flow in his EVA suit as he maneuvered through the asteroid belt surrounding Veridian 6. Behind him, Talia Reeves and 3 volunteers navigated the treacherous field of debris toward mining platform Sigma, abandoned during the initial Corvus attack. Keep tight formation, Dominic instructed through the comm. Debris is unpredictable in this sector. Copy that, Talia responded, her breathing steady despite the danger. How much farther? 2 kilometers. Platform should be visible once we clear this cluster. Dominic had volunteered for this mission partly out of duty, partly to escape the suffocating despair that permeated the station. Before the attack, he'd been an unremarkable communications officer. Now, he was one of the few with extensive EVA experience, a qualification earned through desperate salvage missions. His helmet comm crackled with interference as they approached the edge of the asteroid field. For a moment, he thought he heard something, a whisper beneath the static. Lieutenant Reed, Commander Blackwell's voice cut through. Status report. Approaching platform Sigma, no signs of Corvus activity. Proceed with caution. Dr. Harlow's transmission went out 6 hours ago. If Pascal is right about Corvus monitoring us, they may have detected the signal. The thought sent a chill through Dominic's spine. He'd seen the aftermath of Corvus attacks, not just the physical destruction but what it did to survivors. Pascal's silence was a common response. There, Talia said, pointing ahead, I see the platform. Mining platform Sigma floated against the backdrop of stars, its massive extraction drills now still. Solar panels hung at odd angles, damaged but not destroyed. As they approached, Dominic felt a strange sensation. The platform appeared untouched compared to the colony's main station. Something's not right, he muttered, slowing his approach. The platform doesn't show the same damage pattern as our station. Maybe they focused their attack on the main colony, one of the volunteers suggested. Or maybe they wanted the platform intact, Talia said, her security training evident in her suspicious tone. Dominic made a decision. New plan, Talia and I will enter first. The rest of you stay outside, ready to return to base if necessary. They approached the platform's primary airlock carefully. Dominic bypassed the damaged control panel with his emergency access codes, and the outer door groaned open reluctantly. Inside, emergency lighting cast eerie blue shadows across the corridors. The artificial gravity was offline, forcing them to pull themselves along the guidewires. Life support is partially functional, Talia noted, checking her suit readings. Minimal oxygen but temperatures stable. They made their way to the central storage area, where supply crates floated untethered. Dominic activated his helmet light, illuminating labels on the containers. Food preserves, medical supplies, water filters, he listed, relief washing over him. This will buy us at least another month. Talia had drifted toward the platform's communications center. Reed, she called, her voice tense. You need to see this. The communications console was active, powered and functional, unlike everything else on the platform. That's impossible, Dominic whispered. Main power is offline. Talia pointed to a small device attached to the console. Someone modified this recently. Dominic examined the device, his technical training kicking in. It's a signal amplifier, sophisticated, not something we had in our inventory. Could Pascal have been right? Are the Corvus watching us? Dominic shook his head slowly. This isn't Corvus technology. Their systems use crystalline matrices. This is human design, advanced but definitely human. A light on the console blinked, once, twice, then steady. Dominic felt drawn to it, reaching out before Talia could stop him. The moment his gloved finger touched the console, a holographic display flickered to life. What did you do? Talia demanded. Nothing, it's automated, Dominic replied, watching as coordinates scrolled across the screen. I think, I think it's receiving a transmission. 14 light-years away, Captain Freya Nakamura stood on the bridge of the Earth Alliance vessel Solstice, studying the star chart projected before her. The Solstice was a Pathfinder-class ship, small, fast, designed for reconnaissance rather than combat. Captain, her science officer, Lieutenant Hiroshi Yamada, called from his station. We're detecting an unusual signal, quantum band extremely weak. Freya moved to his station, source. Calculating now, it's coming from the Veridian system. Freya frowned. Veridian, there's nothing out there except that small mining colony. They're not equipped with quantum communications. The signal is definitely coming from there, Hiroshi insisted. It contains coordinates and, his expression changed. Captain, it's an Alliance emergency code, Level 4. Level 4 Imminent Extinction Event, the highest emergency classification in the Alliance protocols. When was the last communication from Veridian 6? Freya asked. 8 months ago, routine supply acknowledgement, nothing since. Freya straightened, decision made. Plot a course to Veridian, maximum speed. Captain, her first officer, Commander Jackson Hayes, interjected. Our orders are to rendezvous with the fleet at Proxima Station. And Alliance protocols mandate response to Level 4 emergencies, she countered. We're the closest ship. Send a message to Admiral Sokolov, include the signal data and inform him we're investigating. As the Solstice changed course, Freya studied the emergency code again. Such codes were not issued lightly. Something catastrophic had happened at Veridian 6, and someone had found a way to call for help. Estimated arrival, she asked. 72 hours at maximum speed, Hiroshi replied. Too long, Freya muttered, but there was nothing to be done. The laws of physics couldn't be broken, even for an emergency. Admiral Viktor Sokolov read the transmission from the Solstice 3 times, his weathered face betraying no emotion to the staff in the Proxima Station Command Center. 40 years in the Earth Alliance, Navy had taught him to control his reactions, but the report troubled him deeply. Verify this signal, he ordered his communications officer, and pull all records on Veridian 6, mining operations, personnel, everything. Yes, Admiral. Victor turned to the massive tactical display dominating the center of the room. The Earth Alliance fleet was gathered at Proxima for the annual war games, over 30 warships, from nimble corvettes to the imposing dreadnought Thermopylae. His aide approached with a data tablet. Sir, preliminary analysis confirms the quantum signature is authentic. And there's more, we've detected similar emergency signals from 3 other outposts in neighboring sectors all within the past year. All went silent afterward. Victor's eyes narrowed, a pattern. Intelligence suggests possible Corvus Dominion involvement, though we have no direct evidence. The Corvus, a species encountered only 7 years ago. Initial diplomatic overtures had failed spectacularly, leading to a Cold War of border skirmishes and proxy conflicts. But a coordinated attack on civilian outposts would represent a significant escalation. Contact Captain Nakamura, Victor decided. Tell her to proceed with extreme caution. Observation only, no engagement. He studied the fleet disposition again, mind racing through scenarios. The war games could become very real very quickly. And prepare the fleet for potential combat deployment, he added. If Captain Nakamura confirms Corvus involvement, we move immediately. Back on Platform Sigma, Dominic stared at the coordinates still scrolling across the screen. These aren't location markers, he realized. They're ship movements, Alliance ship movements. Talia drifted closer. Someone's been tracking Alliance vessels from here, how? I don't know, but this device. Dominic carefully disconnected the amplifier. We need to take this to Dr. Harlow. If someone's been using this platform as a listening post, they might have received his distress signal too. As they quickly gathered the supplies they'd come for, Dominic couldn't shake the feeling they were being watched. Not by the Corvus, but by someone else, someone who had been monitoring this remote outpost long before the attack. The whispers across the void had reached ears beyond the Corvus Dominion. The question was, were they friendly? Admiral Viktor Sokolov stood alone on the observation deck of Proxima Station, watching as vessels of the Earth Alliance fleet performed synchronized maneuvers against the backdrop of stars. The massive dreadnought Thermopylae led the formation, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of Proxima Centauri. Under normal circumstances, the display would have filled him with pride. Today, it filled him with grim determination. Admiral, a voice called from behind him, the War Council is assembled. Victor nodded to his aide, Commander Petra Novik, without turning. The solstice. Still en route to Veridian 6. Captain Nakamura reports they've increased speed beyond recommended safety parameters. A ghost of a smile touched Victor's lips. Freya always did have a problem with rules when lives were at stake. In the secure conference room, the commanding officers of the fleet's capital ships waited around a holographic display table. Victor didn't waste time with formalities. 12 hours ago, the Solstice intercepted a Level 4 emergency transmission from Veridian 6 mining colony, he began, activating the display. A three-dimensional map of the sector materialized, with Veridian 6 highlighted. The colony has been out of contact for 8 months. Mechanical failure, suggested Captain Wei Lin of the cruiser Aurora. Unlikely, Victor replied. Intelligence has compiled data showing 4 similar outposts have gone silent in the past year, all in a pattern that suggests deliberate expansion into Alliance territory. He manipulated the display, showing the progression of communication failures across the sector. Corvus, stated Captain Gabriel Reyes of the destroyer Valiant, making it sound like a curse. We believe so, though we lack visual confirmation, Victor agreed. Captain Nakamura is proceeding to Veridian 6 to investigate, but the Solstice is a Pathfinder vessel not designed for combat. You're proposing military intervention based on a single distress call, asked Captain Lin cautiously. Victor met her gaze. I'm proposing we prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. The Solstice arrives at Veridian 6 in 60 hours. We will position the fleet at these coordinates. He marked a position on the map, 30 light minutes from Veridian. Close enough to respond rapidly, far enough to avoid detection. And if the Corvus are present in force, Captain Reyes asked. Victor's expression hardened. Then they will learn the consequences of attacking Alliance citizens. The Solstice dropped out of FTL at the edge of the Veridian system, its sensors immediately scanning for threats. Status report, Captain Freya Nakamura ordered, gripping the arms of her command chair. No immediate threats detected, reported Lieutenant Commander Hiroshi Yamada. However, I'm reading significant debris throughout the system, consistent with battle damage. Freya frowned. Origin of the debris. Analysis suggests both mining equipment and Corvus vessel components. A tense silence fell over the bridge. Life signs at the colony, Freya asked. Scanning, Hiroshi responded, fingers dancing across his console. After a moment, his expression brightened. Yes, approximately 600 human life signs concentrated in the main station. Power levels are minimal but present. Freya allowed herself a small breath of relief. Send a tight beam communication to the station. Text only, minimal power to avoid detection. Message sent, her communications officer confirmed. Response incoming, text only, it's from a Commander Juno Blackwell. The message appeared on Freya's screen. Alliance vessel, confirm identity. Situation critical. Corvus vessels patrol system regularly. Send confirmation of our identity and intention to render aid, Freya ordered, and inform them that additional Alliance forces are positioning to respond. She turned to her tactical officer. Begin passive scans of the entire system. I want to know if there are any Corvus ships hiding out there. On Veridian 6, Commander Juno Blackwell read the message from the Solstice with trembling hands. After 8 months of isolation and dwindling hope, the sight of Alliance confirmation codes almost brought tears to her eyes. They came, Dr. Harlow whispered beside her. Someone actually heard us. A Pathfinder vessel, Juno noted, quickly regaining her composure. Scout class, not equipped for major combat operations. But they say more ships are coming, Torres said hopefully. Juno nodded slowly. If they can reach us in time. She activated the station's comm system. This is Commander Blackwell. I need Lieutenant Reed and Talia Reeves to report to command immediately. When Dominic and Talia arrived, still in their EVA suits, Juno noticed the strange device they carried. What is that? She demanded. Dominic placed the signal amplifier on the console. We found it on Platform Sigma, ma'am. Someone's been using it to monitor Alliance fleet movements. Dr. Harlow examined the device with professional interest. This is Alliance technology, advanced prototype but definitely ours. So someone from Earth was spying on Veridian 6 before the attack? Torres asked, confused. Not exactly, Harlow replied, still studying the device. This isn't designed to spy on us. It's meant to extend the range of our sensors to give early warning of. He looked up, face pale. It's a Corvus detection system. Someone knew the Corvus were coming, Juno realized. They placed this here as an early warning system but never told us. There's more, Dominic added gravely. The device is still functional. According to its logs, it detected Corvus ship movements 3 days ago. They're returning, Commander. Juno turned to her console to send an urgent message to the Solstice. On the bridge of the Thermopylae, Admiral Sokolov studied the latest report from Captain Nakamura. The confirmation of survivors at Veridian 6 was welcome news, but the discovery of the Alliance monitoring device troubled him deeply. Intelligence Operations Sentinel, Commander Novik explained, accessing classified files. Authorized last year after the first outpost went silent, Black Operation Minimal Footprint. Designed to warn us of Corvus expansion, not to protect the colonists, Victor noted with barely contained anger. And now we have confirmation Corvus vessels are returning to Veridian. He made his decision, signal the fleet, we move now. 28 warships of the Earth Alliance powered up their engines simultaneously, breaking formation from the war games and aligning for FTL jump to Veridian. The massive Thermopylae led the way, its powerful engines glowing blue against the darkness of space. Fleet reports ready, Admiral, Commander Novik announced. Execute jump, Victor ordered, his voice calm despite the gravity of the moment. The fleet vanished into FTL in perfect sequence, leaving nothing but dissipating energy signatures behind. Captain Freya Nakamura of the Solstice faced an impossible decision. Her sensors had detected 3 Corvus warships entering the Veridian system, their trajectory bringing them directly toward the mining colony. The Solstice was outmatched and outgunned. How long until the main fleet arrives? She asked her tactical officer. Minimum 4 hours, Captain. And how long until the Corvus vessels reach the colony? 3 hours, 17 minutes. Freya studied the tactical display, options. Her first officer, Commander Hayes, spoke carefully. We could attempt to draw them away from the colony. A hit-and-run attack might divert their attention. Against 3 warships, that's suicide, Lieutenant Commander Yamada objected. Not necessarily, Freya countered, an idea forming. Veridian's asteroid belt provides cover and the Solstice was designed for stealth operations. She made her decision. Plot an intercept course through the asteroid field. We'll use the mining platforms as cover to approach, then launch a surprise attack on the lead vessel before retreating. The goal isn't victory, it's delay. As the Solstice began its dangerous approach through the asteroid field, Freya recorded a message to Admiral Sokolov, explaining her plan and the situation at Veridian 6. Surviving colonists report the Corvus do not destroy their targets immediately, she noted in her message. They disable critical systems and leave survivors to a slow death. This pattern suggests they may be studying human response to isolation and hopelessness. If so, our intervention will disrupt their experiment. She ended the transmission with words she hoped wouldn't be her last. The Solstice will engage the enemy to buy time for the colony. We'll hold the line until you arrive, Admiral. On Veridian 6, Commander Juno organized the survivors into emergency response teams. If the Corvus attacked before help arrived, they would be ready this time. The Solstice is going to try to delay them, she informed her senior staff. We need to be prepared to support them however we can. Dr. Harlow raised his hand. I've been studying the monitoring device Lieutenant Reed found. I believe we can reconfigure it to jam Corvus communications. It won't stop them, but it might confuse them temporarily. Do it, Juno ordered. She turned to Dominic. Lieutenant, get to the auxiliary control room. If the Corvus target our main systems again, I want you ready to switch to backup controls immediately. As her team dispersed to their assignments, Juno found Pascal standing by the viewport, staring out at the stars. They're coming back to finish what they started, the boy said quietly. Juno nodded, placing a hand on his shoulder. Yes, but this time we're not alone. Pascal turned to her, and for the first time since his rescue, Juno saw something besides fear in his eyes. It was determination. I want to help, he said firmly. In the distance beyond the viewport, the faint light of an Alliance Pathfinder vessel maneuvered through the asteroid belt, preparing to challenge an enemy many times its size. While far beyond, an armada of Earth's finest warships raced toward Veridian, awakened to the threat that had been silently growing on their borders. The hour of reckoning approached. The Solstice slipped silently through Veridian's asteroid belt, its stealth systems engaged. From her command chair, Captain Freya Nakamura watched the tactical display where 3 red markers, Corvus warships, moved steadily toward the mining colony. Weapons status, she ordered, her voice calm despite the odds against them. All systems charged and ready, Captain, replied Lieutenant Olivia Santos, tactical officer. Kinetic barriers at maximum. Freya studied the enemy formation. The Corvus vessels moved in a triangular pattern, with the largest ship designated Target Alpha at the point. Their hulls resembled enormous manta rays, dark metal gleaming with an iridescent sheen that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. "They're maintaining formation and haven't altered course," Commander Hayes reported. "They don't know we're here." "Let's keep it that way until the last possible moment," Freya said. She opened a channel to engineering. "Chief, I need everything you can give me when I call for it." "The engines are already redlined, Captain," came the strained reply. "But I've got a few tricks left." Freya nodded, satisfied. "Everyone clear on the plan. We hit target Alpha hard and fast, then use the asteroid field for cover as we withdraw. Our goal is to delay them, not defeat them." The bridge crew acknowledged their orders with determined nods. They all understood the stakes. "T-minus 60 seconds to optimal firing position," Lieutenant Santos announced. Freya gripped the arms of her chair. "Prepare to drop stealth on my mark. Weapons target their propulsion systems." As the Solstice moved into position behind a large asteroid, the Corvus ships continued their approach, unaware of the ambush about to unfold. "Mark." On Veridian 6, Commander Juno Blackwell watched from the auxiliary control room as Dr. Harlow and Chief Torres worked frantically to repurpose the monitoring device. "How much longer?" she asked, eyeing the sensor display where the three Corvus vessels loomed ever closer. "Almost there," Dr. Harlow muttered, not looking up from his work. "Their communication frequencies are complex, constantly shifting, but this device was designed to track those shifts." Torres connected the final wire. "Ready, Commander." Juno checked the chronometer. The Solstice would be in position any moment now. "Stand by to activate on my command, Lieutenant Reed, status of the emergency power systems." Dominic looked up from his console. "Rerouted and ready. If they target the main reactor again, we'll switch to backups instantly." Talia Reeves entered the control room, her security team behind her. "Evacuation protocols are in place, Commander. If worst comes to worst, we can get the survivors to the emergency shelters in the mines." Juno nodded grimly. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." She turned to the viewport just as a flash of light erupted in the distance. "There, the Solstice has engaged." The Solstice dropped its stealth field and fired in the same instant, its main cannon unleashing a blinding beam of energy that struck the lead Corvus vessel squarely in its propulsion section. The warship shuddered under the impact, its smooth trajectory disrupted as secondary explosions rippled along its hull. "Direct hit," Lieutenant Santos exclaimed. "Target Alpha's propulsion systems damaged." "Evasive maneuvers," Freya ordered as the other two Corvus ships broke formation, turning with surprising agility to face this unexpected threat. "Full power to forward shields." The Solstice dove sharply, narrowly avoiding the return fire from the second Corvus vessel. Emerald energy beams sliced through space where they had been moments before. "They're faster than we anticipated," Commander Hayes warned as the tactical display updated with new threat assessments. Freya watched as Target Alpha recovered, its damaged systems apparently rerouting power. "They're adaptable too, hit them again before they can compensate." The Solstice banked hard around a small asteroid, using it as cover to line up another shot. Their second volley struck Target Alpha's weapons array, sending fragments of alien metal spinning into the void. "We've got their attention now," Freya said grimly as all three Corvus vessels changed course, abandoning their approach to the mining colony and turning to pursue the Solstice. "Begin withdrawal pattern Delta, keep them following us." As the Pathfinder vessel executed a series of complex evasive maneuvers through the asteroid field, Freya allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. They had bought precious time for the colony, but the real battle was just beginning. "The Corvus ships have diverted to pursue the Solstice," Dominic reported, monitoring the long-range sensors. Captain Nakamura's plan worked. "Activate the jamming device," Juno ordered. "Let's give her all the help we can." Dr. Harlow initiated the repurposed monitor, and the control room lights dimmed momentarily as it drew power. "Jamming active. It won't last long, they'll adapt, but it should disrupt their coordination temporarily." On the sensor display, they watched as the Corvus pursuit of the Solstice became less coordinated, with the three ships momentarily breaking their perfect formation. "How long until Admiral Sokolov's fleet arrives?" Talia asked. Juno checked the chronometer again. 3 hours, 42 minutes. The Solstice needs to keep them occupied until then. Pascal, who had been quietly helping Dr. Harlow, spoke up suddenly. "They're calling for reinforcements." All eyes turned to the boy. "How do you know that?" Juno asked gently. "I can feel it," Pascal struggled to explain. When they held us on Helios, I started to sense patterns in their communications. It's like a pressure in my head. Dr. Harlow looked at his instruments in astonishment. He's right. I'm detecting new quantum signatures similar to the ones we used in our distress call, but on Corvus frequencies. They're summoning help. The Solstice is in even more danger than they realize, Juno said. She turned to her communications officer. Get me a secure channel to Captain Nakamura. Now. Admiral Viktor Sokolov paced the bridge of the Thermopylae as the massive dreadnought led the Alliance fleet through FTL space. Message from the Solstice, Admiral, reported his communications officer. They've engaged the Corvus vessels to draw them away from the colony. Victor's expression remained impassive, but his hands clenched behind his back. Estimated time to Viridian. 3 hours, 17 minutes at current speed. Push the engines to maximum, he ordered. I want us there in under 3 hours. Sir, that exceeds safety parameters for sustained FTL. I'm aware of the regulations, Lieutenant, Victor cut him off. Execute the order. As the officer complied, Commander Novak approached, speaking quietly. The Solstice is outmatched, Victor, even with Freya's tactical brilliance. She knows the odds, Victor replied grimly. She also knows the importance of buying time. The Corvus have been testing us, Petra, probing our defenses, studying our responses. If their pattern holds, they disable rather than destroy. That works in our favor today. The tactical display updated, showing the fleet's accelerated approach to Viridian. 28 warships from the massive Thermopylae to the nimble corvettes, all pushing their engines beyond recommended limits. New intelligence, Admiral, his science officer reported urgently. The colony has detected Corvus quantum communications. They appear to be calling for reinforcements. Victor's eyes narrowed. This changes things. The Corvus clearly value whatever they're doing at Viridian enough to commit additional forces. He turned to his tactical officer. Prepare the fleet for immediate combat upon arrival. All vessels to battle stations. This is no longer a rescue mission, it's a preemptive strike. The Solstice rocked violently as Corvus energy weapons found their mark, depleting the ship's shields to dangerous levels. Shields at 23%, Lieutenant Santos called out over the blare of warning alarms. Port thrusters damaged. Freya gripped her chair as the ship lurched again. Reroute power from non-essential systems, keep us moving. The Solstice had led the Corvus vessels on a chaotic chase through the asteroid belt for nearly an hour, but their superior speed and weaponry were taking a toll. The Pathfinder vessel's hull was scorched and damaged in multiple sections. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Yamada called urgently from his station. Priority message from Commander Blackwell on Viridian 6. Put it through, Freya ordered, wiping blood from a cut on her forehead. Juno's voice came through, distorted by interference. Captain Nakamura, our sensors indicate the Corvus are calling for reinforcements. You need to break off your attack and take cover. Freya exchanged a grim look with Commander Hayes. Understood, Commander. How long until Admiral Sokolov arrives? Less than 3 hours now. We'll hold them as long as we can, Freya replied. Nakamura out. She turned to her tactical officer. New plan, set course for the gas giant's rings. We'll use the electromagnetic interference to mask our signature. The Solstice banked sharply, diving toward Viridian's largest gas giant, its swirling storms and dense ring system offering potential sanctuary. 2 of the Corvus vessels followed immediately, while the third, the damaged Target Alpha, maintained a more cautious distance. They're splitting up, Commander Hayes noted, trying to flank us. Good, Freya said with grim determination. The more they spread out, the less coordinated their attack, take us into the densest part of the rings. As the Solstice plunged into the swirling debris field surrounding the gas giant, ice particles and rocks hammered against its already damaged hull. But the same particles that endangered the ship also confused the Corvus sensors, buying precious time. Captain, Yamada called out suddenly, I'm detecting new ships entering the system, but they're not Corvus, and they're not the Alliance fleet. Freya frowned, identify. Unable to confirm, but they appear to be independent vessels, civilian configurations heavily modified. On the tactical display, 6 new markers appeared, approaching rapidly from the opposite side of the system. On Viridian 6, similar confusion reigned as the new vessels appeared on their sensors. Who are they? Juno demanded. Pirates, mercenaries. Dr. Harlow studied the readings. Their energy signatures don't match any known Alliance or Corvus configurations, but they're definitely human vessels. The largest of the unknown ships hailed the mining colony on an open frequency. A gruff female voice filled the control room. Veridian 6, this is Captain Leona Voss of the Frontier Coalition. We intercepted your distress call and came to help. What's your situation? Juno exchanged surprised looks with her officers before responding. Captain Voss, this is Commander Blackwell. We're under Corvus attack. An Alliance Pathfinder vessel is engaging them near the gas giant, and Alliance reinforcements are inbound. Understood, my ships aren't military, but we know how to fight. We'll support your Alliance vessel until the cavalry arrives. As the transmission ended, Talia turned to Juno. The Frontier Coalition, I thought they were just smugglers and outlaws. They prefer independent traders, Dr. Harlow corrected with a small smile, and they have no love for the Corvus. Several of their outposts were among the first to be attacked last year. On the sensor display, they watched as the 6 Coalition ships changed course, moving to intercept the Corvus vessels pursuing the Solstice. They're buying us more time, Juno said softly. Fire erupted in the heavens as Coalition ships engaged the Corvus vessels, their unorthodox tactics clearly catching the aliens by surprise. These weren't military vessels with predictable patterns. They were independent ships flown by captains who made their living outrunning authorities and surviving against the odds. From the damaged bridge of the Solstice, Freya watched in amazement as a heavily modified mining vessel executed a maneuver no Alliance captain would ever attempt, skimming dangerously close to the gas giant's atmosphere to ambush one of the Corvus warships from below. Captain Nakamura, came a transmission from the Coalition flagship. Leona Voss here, my ships will keep these bastards busy. Use the opportunity to make repairs. Your Alliance fleet is still 2 hours out. Acknowledged Captain Voss, Freya replied, grateful for the unexpected allies. And thank you. As the Solstice retreated deeper into the gas giant's rings to make emergency repairs, the Coalition ships danced around the more powerful but less agile Corvus vessels in a deadly ballet of hit-and-run attacks. They fight like raiders, not soldiers, Commander Hayes observed. Right now, that's exactly what we need, Freya replied. Unpredictability. The respite was short-lived. New alarms sounded as Lieutenant Yamada called out, multiple FTL signatures detected, Corvus reinforcements incoming. On the tactical display, 4 new Corvus warships appeared, larger than the original 3. The odds had just shifted dramatically against them. So much for our theory that they disable rather than destroy, Freya said grimly. They're committing serious firepower now. This isn't an experiment anymore, it's an invasion. The next hour was chaos as Coalition ships and the repaired Solstice fought a desperate delaying action against the Corvus fleet. 2 Coalition vessels had been destroyed, and a third was badly damaged. The Solstice itself had lost its main weapons array and was operating on emergency power. On Veridian 6, Commander Juno and her team could only watch as their defenders fought valiantly against overwhelming odds. They can't hold out much longer, Dominic said, his voice tight with tension. Pascal, who had remained silent throughout the battle, suddenly straightened. They're here. Who's here? Juno asked. The fire in the heavens, the boy whispered. As if in answer to his words, dozens of FTL signatures flashed across their sensors as the Earth Alliance fleet arrived in perfect battle formation. The massive dreadnought Thermopylae led the charge, its weapon systems already firing as it emerged from FTL directly into combat range of the Corvus vessels. My God, Tor's breathed, Sokolov brought the entire fleet. From the command deck of the Thermopylae, Admiral Viktor Sokolov surveyed the battlefield with practiced eyes. His fleet had arrived to find a desperate situation, the Pathfinder Solstice nearly crippled, a ragtag group of independent vessels fighting alongside it, and 7 Corvus warships in aggressive formation. All ships engage at will, he ordered calmly. Cruiser group, form defensive perimeter around the Solstice and damaged Coalition vessels. Destroyer squadron, target the Corvus reinforcements first. Thermopylae will engage the lead Corvus vessel. The Alliance fleet moved with practiced precision, overwhelming the Corvus warships with coordinated fire from multiple angles. The space around Veridian lit up with weapons fire, turning night to day on the colony below. Sir, his tactical officer reported, the Corvus vessels are attempting to regroup for FTL jump. Not this time, Victor replied coldly. Deploy gravity well generators. No one leaves this system until we have answers. The battle that followed was swift and decisive. Without the element of surprise, faced with the full might of the Earth Alliance fleet, the Corvus warships were outmatched. 3 were destroyed outright, 2 more critically damaged and adrift. The remaining 2 surrendered when their FTL drives were neutralized by the Alliance gravity wells. As the firing ceased, Victor opened a channel to the Solstice. Captain Nakamura, status report. Freya's image appeared on screen, her uniform torn and bridge filled with smoke behind her. Operational barely. Thank you for the timely arrival, Admiral. You held the line, Captain. The Alliance won't forget that. Victor allowed himself a small smile, nor will we forget our unexpected allies. The communication switched to include Captain Voss of the Coalition, her weathered face streaked with soot. Don't get sentimental, Admiral. We didn't do this for the Alliance. The Corvus hit our outposts too. Nevertheless, you have my gratitude, Victor replied genuinely. And perhaps this marks a new understanding between the Alliance and the Frontier Coalition. Dawn broke over Veridian 6 as Alliance shuttles landed, bringing medical supplies, fresh food, and repair teams. Commander Juno Blackwell stood with her senior staff as Admiral Sokolov himself descended from the lead shuttle. Commander Blackwell, the Admiral greeted her formally. On behalf of the Earth Alliance, I extend our apologies for failing to protect this colony. Juno straightened to attention. Sir, with respect, you came when it mattered most. Victor nodded, then turned to Dr. Harlow and the monitoring device that had been brought to the landing area. I understand you repurposed one of our Black Operation devices to help in the defense of this colony. We did what was necessary, Admiral, Dr. Harlow replied without apology. Indeed, Victor studied the man thoughtfully. The Alliance needs more people who do what's necessary, Doctor. When this crisis is fully resolved, I'd like to discuss a position with you. As medical teams tended to the survivors and engineers began repairing the colony's critical systems, Juno found Pascal standing at the edge of the landing area, watching Alliance shuttles continue to arrive. What happens now? The boy asked quietly. Juno looked out at the activity around them. Alliance personnel working alongside colony survivors, coalition ships docked alongside military vessels, former enemies now cautious allies against a common threat. Now, she said, placing a hand on his shoulder, we rebuild. And we remember that when we were abandoned in the darkness, help came from places we never expected. In the sky above, the Earth Alliance fleet maintained its protective formation around Veridian 6, their presence a promise to the survivors and a warning to any who would threaten them again. The captured Corvus vessels were being studied, their technology and intentions finally exposed to the light.